My name's Duncan Price. I'm a partner at BuroHappold. I lead the sustainability team, and we are all about accelerating the pursuit of a sustainable built environment and trying to join up, scale up and accelerate action on some of the pertinent issues of the day, in particular around climate change and air quality. That's the topic that we've chosen for tonight. So my role is to welcome you and to introduce the topic in no more than 5 minutes before handing over to our expert panelists to give their thoughts on this issue. And then we're going to have an hour of discussion, and there'll be lots of roving microphones. And it really is a discussion and a conversation, not a set of questions and answers. So I'm going to try and do 5 minutes of scene setting, no more than that. And I will start with kind of what it means to live in cities. This is an example of what we're seeing sprouting all over London at the moment. But it really seems to us that the buildings and the built environment are so important. They affect our health, our happiness, our productivity, our well-being. So our experience of cities is everything for an increasing number of people. I think globally around 50% of the population live in urban areas, and that's set to rise to 70%. So cities are essential to our human experience. They're also of strategic importance in the fight against climate change. We know we need to rapidly decarbonise the built environment if we're to have any chance of meeting our international commitments under the Paris Agreement. And that means changing everything from the way that we live, where we work, how we move around our towns and cities. And we're also experiencing the effects of climate change. We're now already halfway towards the 2-degree backstop in Paris and in serious danger of overshooting the 1.5-degree limit that everybody signed up to. So we've got to do more with less. And of course, last year we had the publication of the IPCC report, which says if we're to hit our 1.5-degree limit, then we really need to get our skates on. We've got about 12 years to start bending the curve, as they say, to see some serious inroads into decarbonising every aspect of society. But there is a ray of hope for us in the built environment in that around 40% of the Paris Agreement can be delivered through action in towns and cities. And so it's within our grasp, within our gift to make that happen. We're already seeing some of our major private sector clients and partners signing up to net zero carbon buildings. And the campaign has been led by C40 and World Green Building Council. And I think that's really inspiring, that we've got major developers like Berkeley in London and Bruntwood in Manchester, who are saying this is the way that we're going to build neighbourhoods from now on, and really getting to grips with what that might mean. We've now also got the emergence of air quality as front page news. It's front page of the Evening Standard, and it's been all over the national press. We had this article from last year talking about 90% of the world's children breathing toxic air. And we've got the emergence of new standards around health, well-being and productivity in buildings. And if you remember, probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, World GBC did this bit of research on the business case for green buildings, which was the most downloaded report ever. And that looked at the whole property life cycle and what's the business case for green buildings. And central to that was the health and well-being of its occupants. And there's been a whole bunch of research on what that means for the way that we design buildings and cities. There's also an issue of environmental justice, which Joe will touch on later, but around 80% of people in cities are exposed to unsafe air quality, and 97% of cities in lower middle-income countries fall into that category of not meeting World Health Organization air quality guidelines. And of course, we've got political winds of change, and whether it's the kind of pushback against development and saying, well, what does this mean for me, through to an emerging hot topic around social value in new development. How do we develop our towns and cities to deliver social good and environmental good for the communities in those areas? And interestingly, that report was from some work done by UK Green Building Council and Bill Hughes from Legal and General Property. So this is now a board level issue. It's all about the social license to operate for developers. And of course, it's a public health crisis. 7 million premature deaths globally from poor air quality. And the stats speak for themselves about the impact of air quality on specific health challenges. Again, another ray of hope. Rachel will talk about this, but at the Global Climate Action Summit last summer in San Francisco, 22 megacities signed up to effectively fossil fuel-free streets. So ambitious climate action to remove polluting fossil fuels from our cities and create green and healthy streets. And then closer to home, we've seen London really lead the way. Arguably, the mayor has taken this as one of the key issues for this mayoralty, and that's partly been driven by what Londoners are saying matters to them. I think something like, I think that the top 4 issues that voters say are important, in no particular order, are crime, housing, transport, and air quality. And so to have air quality such high up the agenda is really powerful. We've obviously seen the emergence of the draft New London Plan, which is bringing in really ambitious aspirations and policies around climate change. We've got the new ultra-low emission zone about to arrive on our doorsteps. And then you've got mayoral development corporations like OPDC at Old Oak Common, which is the largest regeneration projects in Europe. Saying it's not just about design, not just about planning, it's about building performance and operation. And they're bringing in policies to collect information about what people actually think of their neighbourhoods. Do they really like it? Is it, are we delivering the kind of spaces that people want to live in? If that wasn't enough, we've got technological change. Data everywhere, but are we making sense of the data? We've got clients of ours who are at BuroHappold who are seizing this, and it's a big issue across the whole of the building performance space and the built environment. Like, how do we make sense of data, and what role does that have in shaping the way that we are managing space? And then, of course, we're just starting to understand the economic benefits as well. Bolder climate action can yield a big dividend in terms of the economic boost from improved health.